In November 1962, the high-altitude desert of Ladakh became a frozen kill zone. Temperatures dropped well below zero, and the wind alone carried enough force to cut through bone. Stationed here was Charlie Company of the 13th Kuman Regiment, positioned to block the advancing Chinese military. Almost every man on this ridgeline was an Ahir, from the Rao community of northern India. Led by Major Shaitan Singh, they shared a profound ancestry. At the 16,000-foot pass of Rizangla, the odds were absolute. This visualization of 13,000 enemy dots closing in on a single point of just 120 men represents the staggering scale of the threat. When the artillery fire ceased and their ammunition completely ran out in the biting cold, the Ahir soldiers refused to retreat. They dropped their empty rifles and engaged the advancing forces in brutal, bare-handed combat. By the time the fighting stopped, 114 of those 120 men were martyred. Despite the massive numerical disadvantage, they did not yield a single inch of territory. A refusal to yield of this magnitude points to a generational culture of resistance, the specific ancient legacy of the title Rao. The roots of this defiance reach back to the Chandravanshi Kshatriya, the ancient lunar dynasty of warriors that established the foundational cultural identity of the Rao community. This lineage traces directly to King Yadu, the historical origin point of the Yadav dynasty, a clan that would eventually shape the political and cultural map of the entire subcontinent. Lord Krishna represents the spiritual pinnacle of this bloodline, establishing the core philosophical foundation of Dharma, the unwavering commitment to righteous duty, regardless of personal cost. Over centuries, that royal foundation transitioned into a practical hierarchy. By the time of medieval India, the descendants of this dynasty held firm control over vast tracts of land as regional administrators. The title Rao functioned as an official designation of sweeping administrative authority, identifying the community heads responsible for the governance and defense of the realm. Their strongholds stretched across a massive geographic corridor, from the plains of Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh to the Ahirwal region of modern-day Haryana, where the Rao community served as the local backbone of governance. Bearing the title of Rao meant carrying the societal weight of protecting these territories. Generations of this responsibility forged a community defined by its protective instincts and natural leadership. That protective instinct was tested during the British colonial era. In 1857, a rebellion swept across India, forcing the community to defend their inherited martial spirit against an industrialized global empire. The central figure of this resistance in the Haryana region was Rao Tularam, the ruler of Rewari. Rao Tularam used his ancestral authority to rally a loyal army of local warriors, organizing them to strike back directly against the military might of the British forces. Even when outgunned and forced to retreat, he refused to surrender or compromise with colonial rulers. That distinct, hard-headed stubbornness to hold the line remains a defining characteristic of the Rao lineage. His defiance left a permanent mark on the region. Today, his martyrdom is celebrated annually across Haryana as Shahid Diwas, or Martyrs' Day, ensuring his fighting spirit is passed down to every new generation. The oral histories of the 1957 resistance and the ancestral code of the Yadu Vanch provided the specific moral framework for the 114 martyrs at Rizangla. This deliberate cultural preservation, passed down through family lineages, transformed an ancient martial ethos into a modern defensive reality. This intensity extends beyond the battlefield. The Rao identity is deeply tied to the land. For centuries, they have driven regional agriculture and the dairy industry, cultivating a rugged, self-sufficient lifestyle. Today, that exact same drive translates into competitive dominance. Whether it is in national politics, the expansion of modern business, or securing medals in elite sports, the Rao community consistently pushes to the front of the pack. A distinct cultural glue keeps this vast network united. They share a grounded regional dialect and a deep, unspoken sense of internal brotherhood that bridges the gap between a modern executive and a village farmer. Rao is an active, living code of honor, duty, and resilience, maintained through centuries of practice. It is a legacy forged entirely in sacrifice. If you carry this history, or simply respect the deep roots of those who stood their ground when it mattered most, drop a Jai Yadav, Jai Madhav in the comments below.